I got a box, and this box has good things in it. So the main thing that I've been waiting for to install the Mishimoto oil cooler is a stencil, and we finally got that today. Now I've been waiting to install it because, look at that, how nice. Because I mount my coolers like that, and with this, the logo would be upside down. Luckily there's a blank side on it, which means we're going to mount it that way and paint the new logo on right there. It's also nice because I don't have to paint it black. So for the sedan, I got a silver cooler, and we're going to paint a blue logo on it. For the drop top, I got a black cooler, and we're going to paint the logo red. Now I got a primer, so we're going to put some primer on it. I got some blue paint. I'm wondering how well this is going to retain heat and sort of stay true to its color. I was looking for some VHT in this color, but they didn't have any. They didn't have any in blue at all. So I'm hoping, apparently it's 50% more durable, which is a good sign, I think. But it doesn't really say the temperature range at which this starts to have issues at. Then again, the oil coolers don't really get super hot, so I'm not too worried about it. And we're gonna hit it with some, a couple clear coats of some VHT. So I'm hoping the primer and the clear coat will help protect that. I'm probably going to do 2 coats, maybe like 5 or 6 coats, and then 2 coats of that. And then hopefully it should be pretty stout, and hopefully we shouldn't have any fading issues. I really don't want to like repaint it like every 4 months or something, you know what I mean? And for the bucket we got some red. Black and red will look nice. Just kind of hoping to get more than one use out of that, but it made it kind of like a weird cutout sticker, so that's kind of the interesting design. Oh well. Alright, so I masked off the sides. Alright, so I painted the cooler last night. It's been drying overnight. We're gonna see how it looks today. So the stencil kind of like soaked and kind of bent up a little bit, so I'm wondering if like up here is not going to be perfectly straight. I was hoping I could reuse this stencil, but I guess I'm not going to be able to, but that turned out pretty good. That's not bad. There is a bit of overspray like up here again because the stencil kind of like bubbled up. But I think once that's like up inside the bumper, you won't even really notice it. So it's a little bit deeper of a blue than I wanted it to be, but not bad. Now another thing we're going to be doing today is changing the oil, and we're going to be throwing in some 20 weight 50 because a lot of you guys got a little bit booty tickled last time I put 530 in my 200,000 mile E36 M3. So we're switching to a higher weight oil, and hopefully she should like it. Alright, party on. I freaking lost my 17 mil impact, so breaking them by hand. Oh, it's hot. Why? Be a table. Just be a table. Ta-da! This needs to be gone. Is it secured anywhere else? I do not believe so. Oh, fuck you, are you kidding me? God, piece of shit. That fucking didn't work out well. That right there is why you don't run Amazon coolers. So a cooler install is going to be nice for a couple of reasons. One, I'm running a proper cooler. Two, I'm running a sponsored cooler, which is sick. and it's going to also let me reorientate where I put the cooler in the first place. So I really liked where the oil cooler was on the sedan, but I think it could just use a little bit of a touch to make it just that much better. So before, the cooler was kind of sitting like that. I think I'm going to try and tuck it a little bit back there more. You see what I'm talking about? Because if I can have that edge like flush in the bumper, I think it'll look just a little bit more ill. Something like that. So the first one, fucking get a big ass pencil, would you? Damn. Somewhere around there, I think. Is that even showing up? Let's see what hardware I'm going to be running. Too big. Just right. Oh yeah, for those of you guys wondering, the wing is coming along nice. And I posted the first video on the wing yesterday, and a lot of you guys are like, ditch the wing. I don't want to ditch the wing, bros. I want to fix the wing up and make it look proper. I like lightweight wings, so I've always wanted one, so I'm going to make this one right. So the wing's not going away, it's getting fixed. That there. So this one's kind of gonna want to go somewhere over here. Camera down, baby. So I got the holes drilled. Kind of sucks though, because I can't get the drill at like a straight on angle because the bumper's in the way, and I don't want to freaking take out these plastic clips because they always break. But I got it pretty much where I want it to be. Now for a test fit. Oh fuck, I put it on the wrong side. God damn it. Oh shit. Fuck. It's supposed to be on that side. Alright, through the power of editing, I fixed it in about 2 seconds. This was probably close to half an hour, 40-minute endeavor, but it turned from a project into a freaking war. So I ended up drilling 2 holes, but that hole was freaking drilled wrong. I drilled it off because the drill bit, it's kind of a pain in the ass to drill this because the drill's at an angle. And so I mounted that side up, and then I mounted this side up. If you guys can see that, that's an OBD1 ignition coil bracket that sort of sits, connects the 2 ignition coils together for like a ground. So I took that, I ran a bolt and nut up through this side of that into the little center section, so it kind of slides back and forth like that, and then I mounted the cooler onto that piece, and so that can give me like some adjustability so I can move it forward and back in whatever way I want to. So that way I'm not relying on a proper mounting hole to get this thing done and where I want it. But the holes like this, I kind of bend the bolts a little bit because it's never really freaking perfect. But this way I have some adjustability, I can move it around, and I got it exactly where I want it. To get kind of a sneak peek, it's sitting up a little bit higher in the bumper than the older one was. I think that cooler is also like a little bit thicker, a little bit taller too, so that kind of adds to the shortness. But it looks like it's kind of empty, like all this stuff, but when the lines are in here and ran, I think it'll fill it out a lot better. I think I'm going to stack a couple more nuts on the threads just to lower the cooler a little bit, so it's not sitting so up in it, it'll sort of hang down a little bit. Alright, so that's sitting much better. That's nice. Oh, look at that. Those are just freaking nice. The old ones just freaking faded, so I'm hoping those ones don't do that. I don't think they should though. This is a pretty cheap setup. Ew! That looks bitchin'. There we go, bumper's back on. The freaking alignment bracket on one of the sides is broken, so it's not lining up right. Shit bugged the fuck out of me. I was hoping I can fix that today. But I'm just gonna have to come back another day and freaking replace one of those things and make the bumper fit right, because that freaking annoys the hell out of me when that thing's not sitting proper. But first look at the cooler with the bumper back on. It's looking pretty good. Let's get an old run up here. If you put a little tape over it, you won't scratch the anodization on the fitting, just the tip. There she is. That's on, boys. Interesting note, this line, the shorter one, barely fits. Like, I got almost no slack in this line because of how close it is. This line still has a little bit. Like before, I had these lines over here and like zip tied onto this because it was so much slack. One of these is a 4-foot line and the other one's a 5-foot. I think on that I have a 5-foot and a 6-foot. And apart with mounting the cooler even farther over, I'm sure that didn't really help, but now there's like no slack in the lines, which is super nice. So that is on. We just got to fill her up with oil, prime it, and then send it. This is what torquing your wheels look like when you lose your 17. It's a freaking 3/8 to half extension to torque wrench. I'm so bummed I lost that socket. I need to find it. So these cars take about 6.5. The first oil cooler setup took 2 more than that, so it took about 8.5. I think this is going to take about the same. So oil's in, now we got to prime the cooler. This is going to consist of cranking the engine with it disabled so it won't fire up, just to get oil flowing throughout the oil and the oil cooler and all the new lines and stuff. I did this last time on the oil cooler install video. The first time on this car, I didn't prime it on camera, and someone in the comments freaking ripped me a new one. Oh, you didn't prime your cooler? I did, I just didn't do it on camera. So to prevent you guys from getting a little bit booty tickled this time, I'm gonna prime it on camera. And with the OBD2 cars, it's pretty simple. The problem is, if I take the fuel pump fuse out, there's still fuel in the fuel rail and all that stuff, so it's gonna fire up immediately and then die after a couple minutes. But with the OBD2 cards, we have an ignition coil wiring harness right here. So this is a wiring harness that runs to all of the coil packs. All we do is give that a little twist, take that baby off, boom, hide them over there. So now the ignition coils are not going to fire, and without spark the motor's not going to run. So now I'm basically just going to crank it for a minute or so until I have good oil pressure, and then I know oil is fully throughout the system. And before we fire up the first time, we can also check the dipstick to see how much oil is actually in it, because oil is going to be going all the way through, so we can actually check the level. Don't want to fry the starter too. Give it a minute to rest. So a quick lesson for you guys, something interesting to note. If you want to know how the car is primed or when it's primed, watch for that little oil light. Because the oil pump is going to flow oil through like the filter housing and through the cooler lines and back in and all that stuff. Oil pressure is created by the bearing clearances themselves. So until oil gets in the bearings and starts squirting out and creating pressure like that, you're just going to have oil volume. Now that little dummy light will tell you if you have oil pressure. So until that light stays on, usually when you crank the car, that light's on, and when it first fires up, it'll still be on for like half a second, quarter second, and then it'll go away because it gets pressure. But when you're cranking it and then the oil light goes out, that basically means the oil has flown into the bearings and into the connecting rods and the main bearings, and it's forcing it through, creating pressure through the rest of the system, telling that light to turn off. So if you'll notice, when I crank it, that light goes out. When that light goes out, that basically means that there's oil pressure in the motor now, so we should be good to start it up. And it doesn't look like we're leaking there. And I see no leaks in any of these lines. So now we're going to plug in our harness, check our oil level. It's a little over full, we'll be fine. And fire it up. Yeah, that looks good. Boom, baby. Look at that. Boom, baby. So you're supposed to wrap 2 stickers, buy them on the car. I'm wrapping 1 right now. I got another one. It's gonna go up here. It's gonna go somewhere right about here. But I'm not gonna put it on yet because I got something that is coming for the back windshield. You guys will see what that is fairly soon. And then once I get that and get that installed, then we'll put the other Mishimoto sticker on. She ugly and she dirty right now because she's missing a few pieces. She's in like a transformation stage right now. So she's not the prettiest. Not the prettiest wing yet. The wing will be a lot better than it is right now. Trust me. Alright, the oil cooler is on. Thank you guys so much for watching. Keep it fresh and I will see you guys later.
We are dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. Search but you stay lost. We are